The top stories tonight in Y News. Metro Manila mayors agree to impose shorter curfew hours beginning tomorrow.
The Department of Health says the A5 sector or the indigent Filipinos can now get COVID-19 vaccines from the COVAX facility if supply permits.
G7 leaders pledge to address vaccine inequity, climate change, and global taxes.
And the Philippine Department of Health encourages the youth to donate blood. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, June 14, 2021. I am Harleen Delgado.
Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the country and in other parts of the world. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Theo.
First in the news. Malacanang doubts the National Capital Region Plus will be placed under modified general community quarantine. Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte orders government officials in Cebu to abide by the Interagency Task Force against COVID-19 testing protocols for arriving international travelers. Rosalie Cons explains why.
President Rodrigo Duterte is expected to announce tonight the community quarantine status to be implemented over the National Capital Region Plus starting June 16. The palace says it is unlikely for the Greater Manila area to be placed under the least strict community quarantine restrictions.
Is it likely to be MGCQ? I have very serious doubts na magiging MGCQ po yan. Is it likely na magiging regular GCQ? Most likely po, pero antayin na lang natin dahil oras na lang po ang binibilang bago po mag-recommend ang ating IATF.
The NCR Plus has recorded low daily and 2-week attack rate of COVID-19 as well as healthcare utilization rate. However, the actual number of new cases is still high. Also, Department of Trade and Industry welcomes the decision of the Metro Manila Council to shorten the curfew hours in Metro Manila. According to Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez, once implemented, business establishments can already adjust their operating hours.
Malaking tulong ito kasi alam mo yung extension lang ng opening hours nila will allow additional maybe 1 or 2 more turnovers, yung sabihin yung palit ng tao at more customers at of course mas malaking kita para sa mga workers dun sa mga establishmento na yon. That means that they can close around 10, 10:30 and they still be on the still be allowed greater mobility.
Meanwhile, President Duterte ordered the Cebu province to follow the testing and quarantine protocols of the IATF for arriving international passengers. This is the directive of the chief executive after reports that the province is still enforcing its own protocol of conducting RT-PCR tests upon arrival of international travelers at Mactan Cebu International Airport, different from the existing IATF protocols. The government ordered the extension of the diversion of Cebu-bound international flights to Ninoy Aquino International Airport for the province to prepare for the implementation of testing and quarantine protocols of the IATF.
Most likely, it will be ordinary GCQ. This has been announced also publicly as the recommendation of our implementers, the Metro Manila mayors. Although I don't want to second guess, an ordinary GCQ would result in higher percentage capacity, no, particularly for indoor dining and for indoor facilities, no.
The palace lets the Department of the Interior and Local Government to take the appropriate action on Cebu province if it still insists on implementing its own testing protocols. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Dumaguete City in Negros Oriental is now considered as the area of most serious concern due to surge of COVID-19 cases and spike in average daily attack rate, according to the Okta Research Group. In its latest report, the independent research group's data showed that Dumaguete City recorded a 129% one-week growth rate and an average daily rate of 69.85% of COVID-19 cases from June 7 to 13. Given these figures, Okta says that Dumaguete City is now tagged as an extremely high-risk area. Okta also cited the cities of Iloilo, Butuan, Tacloban, and Polomok in South Cotabato as other areas of concern due to rising cases and high hospital utilization rates. In addition to these are Tagum City in Davao del Norte, Legazpi City in Albay, and Tagbilaran City in Bohol, now identified as emerging hotspots. Meanwhile, the ICU bed occupancy is at critical level, or above 85% in the cities of Davao, General Santos, Tuguegarao, Iloilo, and Coronadal in South Cotabato.
Meanwhile, a former IATF advisor says it is not yet the time to further ease quarantine restrictions in Metro Manila and nearby provinces. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
The Private Hospital Association of the Philippines said that restrictions in the National Capital Region can now be lowered as the healthcare utilization rate is now back to normal. However, the group emphasized that wearing of face mask and face shield and physical distancing should still be enforced.
Halos wala nang masyado na talagang critical occupancy, bumabalik na tayo dun sa dati, na medyo tumataas pa rin ang konti dun sa below high risk.
However, according to Dr. Tony Leachon, a health reform advocate and a former advisor of the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, the positivity rate in the National Capital Region remains high. He also raised concern over the latest number of new infections in the regions of Western Visayas, Davao, and Zamboanga. Leachon advises the government to observe for 2 more weeks before deciding to downgrade the quarantine status.
Kung luluwag tayo sa Maynila, yun na nga lang inaasahan natin, tapos babagsak din together with the other Western Visayas and Mindanao areas. Ang hirap naman, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, meron kang 3 epicenters.
The Okta Research Group shares the same sentiment to extend the general community quarantine status in the NCR+. But the group wants the easing of restrictions for business establishments complying with the government's safety protocols. It added that the government should expedite the vaccination program in the NCR. Meanwhile, the Employers Confederation of the Philippines also supports the GCQ extension.
Kung magluluwag at babalik na naman dito at maghahambulan naman sila, yun ang problema. Sayang yung pagluluwag at delikado pagka gano'n. Pero kami talaga gusto namin tuloy-tuloy yung pagluwag dahil hirap na hirap natin ekonomiya at ating mga kababayan.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And the Department of Health, or DOH, reported today 6,426 new coronavirus disease cases. This brought the total number of COVID-19 cases in the country to 1,322,053. The case bulletin of the DOH also showed 7,145 new recoveries and 57 new deaths. Total recoveries rose to 1,240,112, while total deaths climbed to 22,845. The health department said all labs were operational on June 12, 2021, while 10 labs were not able to submit their data to the COVID-19 document repository system. Meanwhile, the Philippines has fully vaccinated at least 1,879,694 Filipinos. We are administering an average of 135,061 vaccinations daily. We currently have a supply of 12,708,210 vaccine doses.
The Department of Health released its guidelines in the vaccination of the indigent or poor Filipinos belonging to the 5th priority group. However, local government units are given the power to decide on when to start vaccinating. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
Local governments are now allowed to start the inoculation of the A5 sector or the indigent population. But according to the Health Department, it can only start if the COVID-19 vaccine supply in the country is enough, alongside with the inoculation of the A1 to A4 sectors. The DOH also confirmed that the World Health Organization gave a go signal to use the COVID-19 vaccines from the COVAX facility for the A5 sector.
This would be based on a strategy that will be done by our vaccine cluster. Dahil alam naman po natin, we are looking at hindi pa ganon kadami ang ating mga supply. So ito naman ay allowed na, pero it will depend on the supply.
Indigent Filipinos belonging to the fifth group are those included in the poor population based on the National Household Targeting System for Poverty Reduction or other verification mechanisms of the local government not otherwise included in the preceding categories. In situations where there is a limited supply of COVID-19 vaccines, priority may be given to eligible Filipinos within 40 to 50 years old than to those 18 to 39 years old. Meanwhile, 127,614 individuals from the A4 sector have received their COVID-19 shot based on the DOH report. There are about 22 million Filipinos who are part of the A4 sector. The DOH once again reminds the LGUs to conduct strategies and to make a more orderly and organized inoculation of economic frontliners.
Nakita natin yung kasabikan ng ating mga kababayan na sila na ay mabakunahan. Pero kailangan paganahin natin yung master listing process natin, yung scheduling, para po hindi tayo nagkukumpul-kumpul dito sa mga bakunahan.
Malacanang denies that the government deceives the public by reporting that the Philippines is faster when it comes to its vaccination drive compared with that in other countries in Asia.
Wala pong pagkakamali doon. It's just two ways of looking at the numbers. One is absolute numbers, and we remain second. There is no deception.
According to the DOH, there are about 2% inoculated of the 70% target population to attain herd immunity in the country. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The palace clarifies that foreign tourists who will enter the Philippines are not yet eligible to receive a COVID-19 jab in the country. Meanwhile, foreign nationals who are permanent residents in the Philippines can now also get vaccinated. Arlene Delgado reports why.
Hindi pa po tayo parang Amerika na namimigay ng bakuna sa kahit sino dahil kulang pa po ang ating mga bakuna.
The palace clarified that foreign tourists are not yet included in the government's vaccination program. As of now, the Department of Tourism says the interagency task force is studying its proposal to establish a green lane for fully vaccinated tourists who will enter the country. However, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque noted that foreign nationals who are permanent residents in the Philippines are included.
No one is safe until we are all safe. Kung nandito sila as permanent resident, syempre po, saan sila kukuha ng bakuna kung hindi dito, no?
Earlier, the Department of Health made a clarification that permanent foreign residents who are included in the priority groups can avail of the COVID-19 vaccine following its investigation on vaccinated Chinese nationals in Pasay City. Based on a department memorandum released in March, all Filipinos, including overseas Filipino workers and other groups with legal residency status in the Philippines, such as foreign nationals and diplomats who meet the criteria for priority groups, are eligible to register for the vaccine with their local government units, subject to the availability of vaccine supply.
Kung ikaw ay permanent resident dito, bagamat ikaw ay foreigner, you will not be treated differently from Filipino nationals. Ibig sabihin, dito ka nakatira, kailangan bakunahan ka namin kasi ikaw ay makakasalamuha rin ng mga Pilipino.
According to the Bureau of Immigration, over 33,000 foreign nationals were issued immigrant visas as of 2019. Jorlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God. For those watching our 24/7 live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook.
Several nominees of the Isambayan for president and vice president in the May 2022 elections declined the nomination. According to a convener of the group, he believes that the politicians are afraid to be linked to the opposition coalition. Nel Maribohok will tell us why live. Yes, Nel, good evening. Who are these nominees and what are the reactions so far?
William, former Secretary Arnold Ministro, one of the convener of the Sambayan Coalition, doubts on the rejection of some personalities to be included in the list of nominees for President and Vice President. Luistro thinks that some of the politicians are afraid to be part of the opposition group.
I don't think that is a real no. Naintindihan ko na una, parang natatakot rin yung pag makita ka na kasama sa oposisyon, baka maaga pa ay ikaw yung maunang matagos. I think very real fear.
Last Saturday, the coalition released the list of 8 nominees for President and Vice President for 2024. The names include Vice President Leni Robredo, former Senator Antonio Trias IV, Senator Grace Poe, Tibak Party List Representative Eddie Villanueva, Atty. Tel Jokno, and Batangas Representative Vilma Santos Recto. Poe and Santos Recto rejected the nominations and both maintained that they have no plans to run for a higher position next year. Meanwhile, Jokno and Villanueva did not directly answer if they accept or reject the nominations. According to Luistro, this July they will release another list of nominations.
Hindi pa tapos ang laban, hindi na ng katapusang 6 na pangalan. Sundan ang susunod na kabanata.
Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque reacted to its Sambayan list of nominations and that the administration has no time for politics.
Well, I'm certain they'll get more votes than those who accepted the nomination. Nakatutok muna po kami sa pagbabakuna at sa pandemya. Inisatabi muna mga pangarap at mga kagustuhan na manalo sa eleksyon. Malayo pa po sa isipan ng presidente yan.
Political science professor Dennis Coronation and political analyst Ramon Tatitli believes that it is part of the strategy of the politicians to delay their decision regarding their stand in the coming election to prevent them from early targets of mudslinging and from politics, especially those who will run under the umbrella of opposition groups.
Siyempre, it's too early. Baka mag-aay sila kay Vice President Binay. It's not really advisable o magiging ka-target kagad.
Normal yun sa mga last election. Lumitaw ka, lumitaw pa nga 2 years before. Talagang sa iyo na puro ang mga banat.
The analyst explained that based on the previous experience of some politicians, the early declaration of their intention to run the elections may then be the target of new campaigns and eventually affect the results of the voting. William?
Yes, thank you, Nel Maribohok reporting live.
The palace expressed its full support for Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte-Carpio's statement against Vice President Leni Robredo. According to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, VP Robredo should stop politicizing the COVID-19 response of local government units. Meanwhile, in a statement, Attorney Barry Gutierrez said it is VP Robredo who has been dragged to politicking when her whole focus is helping the people in the ground and seeking for a long-term solution. Gutierrez says VP Robredo is also willing to go to Davao City to help unless this will also be regarded as politicking.
A human rights group has urged the International Criminal Court, or ICCNU, to open an investigation over the Philippines drug war and arrest President Rodrigo Duterte. Dante Amento tells us why.
The Rise Up for Life and for Rights group believes justice cannot be attained under the Duterte regime. Thus, they have submitted a new supplemental pleading to the Office of the Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, or ICC, today. It is their fourth pleading since 2018.
There is no way that justice can be achieved under President Duterte especially even after the assurances of the Department of Justice to the United Nations that there will be investigation, because President Duterte himself has publicly announced that they cannot share records of the police operations and the deaths because this is a concern of national security.
The group asks ICC Chief Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda to decide on the complaint filed by the alleged victims of the government's anti-drug campaign. The complaint urges the conduct of an urgent investigation into crimes against humanity in the Philippines and issue a warrant of arrest against President Rodrigo Duterte while the trial is ongoing.
The killings continued. This latest supplemental pleading shows that even by police real numbers statistics, it has increased to at least 6,117 deaths. And this will continue to increase if President Duterte is not arrested by the ICC.
Included with documents submitted are allegedly complete and strong evidence such as the current number of drug suspects killed from the 200,000 anti-drug operations conducted.
Nagsabit nga rin kami ng picture kasi sabi namin para makita ng ICC ang mukha ng lahat ng drug war victims. Kasi baka ang nakikita lang nila yung sa morgue na, no? Nagsubmit kami ng picture nila bilang mga tao, bilang in all of these documents, may sinabit kami ng mga news articles. These are properly annotated na news articles which can serve as reliable information of what's happening in the Philippines.
The witnesses also assured to testify the moment the investigation will start.
Natatakot, oo natatakot, pero hindi naman pwedeng magtago na lang sa pagkatakot. Kaya ngayon, kaming mga nanay, kasama yung mga ibang nanay, handa na kaming humarap kung ano man yung mangyayari. Kasi habang tayo natatakot, lalo tayong tinatakot.
Meanwhile, the UNTV News asks for a reaction from Malacanang over the issue, but the palace has not yet released a statement. Dante Amento, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, Israel elects a new prime minister, ending the 12-year grip on power of former Prime Minister Netanyahu. Marvy Delphine will tell us why live. Marvy?
LC Naftali Bennett is elected as the new Prime Minister of Israel on Sunday after winning a narrow margin of 60 to 59 of the Knesset Parliament's confidence vote. Bennett's victory is supported by majority of the parliament, who were united in wanting to bring an end to the 12-year record of the longest service of former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, known for his strong grip on power and infamous political history. Bennett's two-year government promises to bring compromise between 8 different parties with differing political views, including the Arab Party, in his hope to develop the most diverse government coalition Israel will see as a nation. The new government will focus on domestic issues and is also said to likely take a modest approach in reducing political tensions with Palestine and maintaining good relations with the U.S. On a statement from White House, U.S. President Joe Biden congratulates Bennett on his vision and states that he is looking forward to working with the new Israeli Prime Minister. Both leaders will target the promotion of peace and security for all Israelis and Palestinians. Meanwhile, the Israel and Gaza conflict of 11 days, which resulted in hundreds of Palestinian casualties, have put into effect a ceasefire on the 21st of May. Elsie?
Thank you, Marvy Delphine, reporting live from Australia. The G7 leaders have pledged to address a number of global issues such as vaccine inequity, climate change, and global taxes, among others. Mavian Dog will tell us the details live. Yes, Maeve?
Elsie, according to a joint communique on Sunday, the G7 pledged to deliver at least 1 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccines to low-income countries, majority of which will be coming from the US and Britain and will flow through the COVAX scheme. Another key focus was climate change, with the G7 leaders committing to have their collective emissions, increase climate finance, and conserve at least 30% of land and oceans over the next few decades. A global minimum tax of 15% on multinational corporations has also been proposed to stop the use of tax havens to minimize taxes. The proposal will go to the G20 meeting next month. Meanwhile, some have expressed their doubts on these promises, including head of inequality policy at Oxfam, Max Lawson, who said that the G7 missed the opportunity to make new pledges of climate finance. While commending the G7 leaders' efforts, WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said that more doses will still be needed to truly end the virus. In addition to the G7's initiatives, the leaders also urged China to cooperate with the Phase 2 COVID-19 origin study, demanded Russia to take action against the cyber attacks conducted and the use of chemical weapons on Russian soil, and called for an immediate halt to the war in Ethiopia. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Mavian Dog, for that live report. The Dutch royal family has the largest budget of the European royals, but a princess has decided for the next few years to abandon the annual public benefit. Mariela Toza reports why.
Heir to the Dutch throne, Princess Amalia was marked as the first member of the royal family to have waived their rights to receive yearly tax-free salary and expenses allowance. On Thursday last week, the 17-year-old Dutch princess passed her final high school exams with distinction, and in celebration of passing, the princess flew her backpack from the palace flagpole. With a heavy heart, the heir to the Dutch throne wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of Netherlands to inform her decisions of not taking the royal allowance she is entitled to, as she feels uncomfortable to receive this, insisting she has done nothing for it in return. According to the law, once the Princess of the Dutch turns 18 years old in December, she is due to receive 1.4 million euros a year in income and personal expenses, but because of her decision, the princess will only be accepting this until she has proper royal duties. After graduating this year, Princess Amalia plans to take a gap year and then begin her undergraduate studies with the promise to repay the 300,000 euro money deposited in her account as her yearly income while she is still a student. Mariela Toza, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
A video of men carrying oxygen tanks across the Himalayas to rural areas of Nepal has gained praises from the netizens. Eileen Siliano will tell us why.
Nurse Usha Mahadu's video has gained thousands of views, in which men are carrying multiple oxygen tanks across a waterfall and rough terrains of the Himalayan ranges. Mahadu said the volunteers in the video were road laborers that she asked help from. The men helped her without hesitation, and Mahadu was grateful for their selfless act. The oxygen tanks being carried are for 12 COVID-19 patients in Manang district of Nepal. COVID-19 supplies would normally take 14 hours to deliver from the government hospital to their district, but the heavy floods prevented the transport of vehicles. The country has been struggling with a second wave of coronavirus cases, especially those in the rural areas with very little healthcare facilities. The country has recorded more than 4,000 deaths from the second wave, making up almost half of the country's 8,338 total death toll. This is caused by vaccine and oxygen shortage, which forced the government to request help from other countries. Despite the raging pandemic, Mahadu said her video shows hope and added, "People like this are what Nepal is known for." Eileen Solano, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening.
This just in, President Rodrigo Duterte has extended the suspension of the abrogation of the Visiting Forces Agreement for another 6 months. Department of Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. said President Duterte made the decision in a meeting with him and Philippine Ambassador to the U.S., Jose Manuel Babe Romualdez.
I have just come from a meeting with the President and Ambassador Jose Romualdez on the subject of the Visiting Forces Agreement. The President conveyed to us his decision to extend the suspension of the abrogation of the Visiting Forces Agreement by another 6 months, while he studies and both sides further address his concerns regarding particular aspects of the agreement.
Last February 2021, the President stated that he is undecided on the fate of the VFA between the Philippines and the United States of America. President Duterte said he wants the public's opinion on the controversial defense deal.
Meanwhile, Filipinos who are looking for jobs can now look for vacancies under the Build infrastructure projects of the Department of Transportation. Asher Cadapan Jr. tells us why.
The 92-kilometer rail line of the Philippine National Railways, dubbed as the PNR Clark project, requires thousands of personnel for its construction and actual operation. Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugada explains this as he encourages jobless overseas Filipino workers and other job seekers to apply for the about 20,000 job vacancies for the said project.
Hindi lang sa mga Pilipino at higit OFW, yung mga driver at konduktor na wala ng trabaho sa modernization program, meron ng oportunidad na pagawa. Yan sa construction lang yan Isipin mo kung tapos na yung construction, ilang tao yung kailangan mong mag-operate at mag-maintain sa riles. Libo-libo din yan.
The construction of the PNR Clark Phase 1 between Tutuban in Manila and Malolos City in Bulacan has initially commenced, requiring about 40,000 personnel. PNR General Manager June Magno says only about half of the number has been employed. But even more will be needed for the construction of the PNR Clark Phase 2 extending between Kalumpit, Bulacan and the new Clark City.
So mag-uumpisa to in the next few months, kailangan ng maraming tao. And doble haba nito kaysa dun sa kabila. Isa-isa. So halos more than double ng mga manpower workforce kailangan namin dito.
Magno further explains that they offer a very competitive compensation and benefits to those who will be hired for the job.
If I'm not mistaken, sa unang estimate namin, baka mga 70% ng OFW na sweldo nila. Which is not bad. Ang initial na choices mo before is 20% yung OFW na salary mo. Pero ito, nagiging competitive lalo sa mga specialists, 60 to 70%.
The concerned government agencies are looking for engineers, skilled workers, and other personnel in the construction field. Applicants may go to the DOTR and PNR offices to apply for the job. Asher Cadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Health, or DOH, urges Filipinos, especially the youth, to donate blood. In a statement, the Health Department said this is to ensure a sustainable supply of blood products, especially during the course of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Health Department added that though the total blood collection in the Philippines decreased, the need for blood and blood products by patients remained the same. The DOH, through the National Voluntary Blood Services Program, has continuously ensured the supply of blood and blood products in the country through issuance of blood donors pass in areas with community quarantines, provision of free shuttle services to and from the blood service facilities, and mobile blood donation drives. The DOH issued a statement in celebration of the World Blood Donor Day. Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte will have his regular Talk to the People tonight, where he is expected to announce the quarantine classifications across the country for the month of June. Please stay tuned here at UNTV as we will broadcast it live on TV and our social media accounts. And those are the reasons behind the news, June 14, 2021. I am Herlene Delgado.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.